by the way.
I know. Mr. Jim, instead of you leaning into the microphone, you just lay back and we'll pull the microphone.
You can pull it out as
Mr. Jim
far.
Donelon, Louisiana State Insurance Commissioner, is here. Kind of off the air, Erin was saying about the claims, all her radical list of claims over the last. And I mean, it's easy to hit a deer in Louisiana.
It is.
Not so
Yeah.
easy to hit a Christmas tree.
No, it's not easy to hit a Christmas
And
tree.
you had asked, how on earth does one hit a Christmas tree? I guess that's where we can start. And I want you to...
well, this really started with the police car that got bit by the alligator.
The alligator,
Yes,
yeah. And
yes.
she says, that's nothing. I hit a Christmas tree.
Right.
And you said, I've been in the insurance game a long time. Let me judge the veracity of your story.
Well, I'm on the interstate coming to work one morning about 4:30. It's pitch dark. 18-wheelers in front of me. And he moved over kind of abruptly. I wasn't sure why. And the moment he moved over abruptly, I learned why. There was a Christmas tree sitting in the middle lane of I-20. And I tried to swerve around it, but I clipped it with my front right
Big
bumper.
wooden stand, one of those big wooden stands.
It was on one of those big wooden
my
stands, and I
goodness.
hit the wooden stand part, and of course, I called 911, and they're like, well, you'll need to go back to the scene, and the police officer will meet you there, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. I can't go back to the scene. I'm on my way to work, and blah, blah, blah. Well, if you get to work and because I didn't know if I had damage. If you get to work and you find you have damage, you can call us, and they can meet you back at the scene later in the day, whatever. I said, okay, we'll see what happens. I get to work. I get out. Matt can attest to the whole front bumper of the car is flapping off.
like a party favor.
So that's how I hit a Christmas tree. And
As I understand, the insurer paid more for that than the deer you
yes,
killed.
the Christmas tree damage cost me more than the deer. And the deer lived, by the way.
Oh,
the
really?
the deer
Limped
flipped.
off?
The deer flipped and then flipped me off and ran away. Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's a cloven hoof.
yeah.
She was just reading between the lines.
I know you're making your tour in this area
I
because
am.
you want to make sure folks understand hurricane coverage they have.
Indeed. First and foremost, as everyone I think now knows, homeowners' policies do not cover flood damage. And that means you really have to have an NFIP, significantly subsidized by the federal government, flood policy for your home.
What's NFIP? I'm sorry.
National Flood Insurance Program.
Gotcha,
It's
gotcha.
a FEMA program,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
And it's called insurance, but it's really a FEMA program benefiting Louisiana far more than any other state. Since 1978, we've collected $19 billion for insured flood losses. Number two is Texas. And that's only, they're $15 billion only because they got $7.5 for Harvey damage 2 years ago.
Now, for a lot of folks similar to myself, I forget which level flood zone I'm in, but it's mandatory with my mortgage.
Yes.
For a lot of folks, it is required. But for a lot of folks, well, I mean, I'm not
It's
in
not
a
required.
flood zone, so what the heck, right?
And that mandated for any federally backed mortgage requirement is a huge deterrent to people buying flood insurance, because if they're not
Well, I don't
mortgaged,
need it 'cause I'm not in a flood
exactly.
zone.
My own two daughters, when they were in their first home, first married, and right before Katrina, bought those first homes, didn't have flood when Katrina hit New Orleans, because they were on Metairie Ridge and were told, you don't buy their lender, you don't have to have it.
The thing is, it's the best insurance.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, it's mine is like, what is it, like $8 or $12 a month? It's
Well,
like next
that's
to nothing.
real low. It's
yeah.
typically in a low risk area about $40 a month, 30 to $40 a
I
month.
am in fact low risk
You
in any
are.
number of ways.
And 25% of the claims that are paid by the NFIP nationally are paid for properties insured for flood in, quote, low-risk areas. And the one I point to all the time is the Grand Ole Opry in downtown Nashville, who called upon their flood policy when downtown Nashville flooded.
The Aaron told you the story off the air about how all the auto companies, for whatever reason, are just beating her doors down to get her to change companies.
Yep.
Despite the lower the insurance rates bill that didn't make it through the legislature in this session, would it be safe to say that despite that there's more competition now,
Oh, no doubt.
and auto rates in Louisiana are nonetheless declining?
And the proof of that is over the past year, State Farm, with 1 million policies, a third of our policy count statewide, lowered their premiums by 7.7%. and at the same time lowered their named storm deductible on their homeowners policies back down to 2% from the 5% they had raised it to 5 years ago, when they wanted to get rid of primarily coastal property that they, because of our 3-year rule, couldn't just non-renew. So they accomplished their purpose. They raised premiums as other companies did as well during the past 5 years, and they lost 100,000 policies from 1.1 million down to a million. They want those 100,000 back. So guess who just filed a 2.2% rate decrease? Our second largest insurer, Progressive, trying to hold on to those 100,000 policies that they lost to State Farm over the that they took from State Farm over the past couple of years.